The 14th Dalai Lama and the Anatomy of Politically Correct Buddhism, a multimedia presentation, Lesson 9, based upon Stephen's chapter in Westmont University Professor Inross, A Guide to New Religious Movements, published by University Press in 2005. According to Diane Eck, professor and director of the Pluralism Project at Harvard University, Los Angeles is writing the history of Buddhism in America, where over 300 Buddhist temples, centers, and monasteries have sprung up over the last 100 years. In Hollywood, many stars have bowed before the famous dragon at Grauman's Chinese, as their handprints and footprints have been cast into the paving stones for tourists of the world to see. The plethora of Buddhist movies coming out of Hollywood may make Hollywood Buddhism's biggest voice. How is it that wherever the Dalai Lama ventures, the Teflon mystique of Shangri-La follows? Originally, the myth seems to have found its voice through the writings of James Hilton, the author of Lost Horizons. Movie director Frank Capra, best known for It's a Wonderful Life and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and You Can't Take It With You, made a movie version of Lost Horizons in 1937, perpetuating the myth of Shangri-La, a mysterious hidden kingdom. Mass communications have played a prominent role in seeding American minds in theaters and living rooms with Buddhist concepts for years. I recall listening to Alan Watts, the former Episcopalian priest turned Zen Buddhist spokesman, as I explored Buddhism as a young college student in California. National Geographic magazines to National Geographic specials, to Home Improvement's eclectic Tibetan Buddhist neighbor Wilson showing Toolman his Tibetan altar in his house, to King of the Hill and the Simpsons Christmas special, the concepts seep into unsuspecting minds. From Star Wars Yoda to Brad Pitt as Heinrich Harrer, the Nazi explorer and young Dalai Lama's mentor in Tibet, to Tina Turner's conversion story and What's Love Got to Do with It, to Disney's early life story of the Dalai Lama, Kundun, to Keanu Reeves' rendition in Little Buddha, to Angelina Jolie's fight with tantric Buddhist time gods in Kampuchea in The Tomb Raider, to Tom Cruise's portrayal of an American in Japan coming to terms with the Buddhist ways of the samurai, and the wild and crazy modern samurai battles of Uma Thurman, conveyed by director Quentin Tarantino in Kill Bill. According to director Irving Kirschner, The Empire Strikes Back was designed to introduce Zen Buddhism to children. Yoda was the proverbial Zen master. The Phantom Menace focused on the council selection of the next incarnation of a Jedi Knight, which closely parallels the process by which each successive Dalai Lama is selected. Would it be unfair to say that the Dalai Lama is the contemporary embodiment of Yoda in our popular culture's consciousness? The only thing missing in the picture is his lightsaber. I recall hearing a knock at the door one day at our center as a cyclist inquired about Sunrise Center for Buddhist Studies. He had recently moved to California from Seattle after being hired as Director of Public Relations for Disney. He mentioned that he was a member of the Fellowship of Western Buddhists. We chatted briefly as I explained that we were a Christian organization that studied Buddhism and that many of us were formerly Buddhist. I invited him to join our discussion, and then we went our separate ways. It wasn't a surprise when I later heard that Disney was backing Martin Scorsese's production, Kundun, a dramatization of the Dalai Lama's life for a cool $30 million.